Joining us now is the founder and CEO of OurCrowd, Jon Medved. Thank you so much for joining us, Jon.
It's great to be here, Michelle. Thank you.
All right, Jon, many of the long-term trends that were evident before the crisis, like telemedicine or working from home, are now becoming so vital to all of us. They're reaching an inflection point. Tell us about some of the companies in your portfolio that had already been focusing on that and are proving to be more essential and pertinent than ever in this pandemic.
Yeah, it's really interesting how these trends, which started in some cases years ago, are now catching fire. And I think after we're even done with the crisis, they will become the new normal. And whether it's things like exercise at home, we have a company called Kemtai, Kemtai, who is basically building an AI-driven virtual trainer where you can exercise in front of your mobile phone or your laptop, and it will tell you that your squats aren't deep enough or your back isn't straight. We have a company called TechC, which is allowing essentially field service to be done over your cell phone, where you take your phone, you show the technician who's sitting far away because he can't come into your house exactly what the problem is, and he gives you instructions, or in some case, the AI does it. And then companies like TytoCare, who started as a remote diagnosis and examination tool that allows you to get clinical grade data from your lungs and your heart, your ears and your throat, that's now being used to treat COVID-19 patients who are in quarantine or sheltering at home. And now doctors are able to get really clinical grade input and help them from afar. These are things that started before the crisis, but are just catching fire now, and it'll be much bigger going forward.
As you say, these are companies that started before the crisis, but there's a lot of concern about what this crisis means going forward for the startup community. The Israeli government has recently approved a $180 million package to support the country's high-tech industry. It's a good start, but what does this mean for the startup nation and the VC landscape in terms of continued investment? How do you see the coronavirus pandemic impacting that?
Well, it's going to impact, and it already is impacting in a major way. This is not our first rodeo, right? We're pretty expert in Israel in handling crisis, whether it's a military crisis or, past downturns. We'll come out of it, and we'll come out of it stronger because Israeli companies are particularly adept at being capital efficient. They don't need to spend a lot of money. They're very good at pivoting. And what's happening now is that many of these companies are showing their relevance. So 3D printer companies are basically now printing elements for face masks, for PPE, or printing even FDA grade swabs. You've got companies that are doing RPA, which is robotic process automation. We have one called Cryon. What this does is it allows bots to essentially write your software. And they were used by Maccabi Health System to literally hook up their system to all the corona data. It would have taken normally regular programmers months to do this. It was done in 48 hours. So the companies that are showing their relevance, that are part of the major trends such as social distancing, distance learning, remote service, remote exercise, they're going to do well. Companies that are focused on travel services or commercial real estate, or God forbid, the oil industry, they're going to have trouble. And what most venture guys like us are doing is we're focusing on helping our companies, getting them to get their budgets and burn rates under control so they can weather the storm, and helping them stay relevant and to stay close to their customers.
Jon, very quickly, what do you think the long-term impacts are going to be on innovation in society?
I think that we're going to come out stronger. I think that in general, healthcare investing and healthcare systems are going to get a huge charge. I think it's not going to be over so quickly. I think we're going to have a little bit of a rough ride for the near term. But I think the startup community is going to come out stronger because there's no doubt that whether it's this crisis or the next one, technology has a lot of solutions that we're looking for. And I'm very, very hopeful about the long term.
All right. Thank you for your hope, and thank you for joining us, Jon Medved.